Pokemon Sapphire. You know it, you probably love it. But now me, I've never played Pokemon Sapphire at all. In fact, all my Gen 3 knowledge comes from one playthrough I did, which I never came back to after I got gifted a cast form. But recently I found a liking for a certain Gen 3 Pokemon line, and that's made me want to delve back into Gen 3. But of course, a normal playthrough would be too simple, so I turned it into a nuzlocke. If you don't know what the rules of a nuzlocke are, I'll tell you. First encounter on each route, you have to catch a nickname. If said encounter is one you've already caught or lost, you have to catch the next different type of Pokemon you run into on that route. And when a Pokemon loses all of its HP, it's dead. So no taking it back to the Pokemon Center, no revives, just dead. Now, of course, after a battle, you can go ahead and heal it up. But if at any point during a battle or during training or in an encounter or anything like that, your Pokemon dies, you can no longer use it. And with all that being said, let's get into this very sorry excuse of a Pokemon Sapphire Nuzlocke attempt. I choose Mudkip and name him Springroll. I make my way up to fight May and her Trico. My Route 101 encounter was a Wurmple I named Boba. And up on Route 103, Arceus must have been looking down on me because he gave me Benny the Zigzagoon. The whole reason I started this journey back into Gen 3. Then on 102, I ran into plenty of Wurmples and Zigzagoons, but due to the rules I stated earlier, I can't catch them. So I was here for about 5 minutes trying to find a new encounter, just for Benny to crit the Lotad that I finally found. But whatever. After struggling so much on this route, we helped Wally catch a Ralts on the exact same route. But it's whatever, I'm not jealous, I don't care, it's whatever. On Route 104, I ran into a Talo, and I named her Garlic Parm. Then came Petalburg Woods. I was having trouble finding an encounter I hadn't already gotten, since I got all the basic ones like Zigzagoon, Wurmple, and even Talo. So, after that, I ran into this evil Wurmple, and it poisoned Garlic Parm. Now, if you're a new gen like me, poison doesn't affect you outside of a battle, but that's not the case for Gen 3. So, as my screen was glitching, I ran through fighting the Grunt and tried to run out of the forest, but I was too late. And Garlic Parm died to the poison. Now I'm out of a Pokemon and a 10-piece wing. But it's not over. Benny also gets poisoned, but at least I was closer to the exit. So I bolt out of the forest and run into this flower shop, hoping, praying for some kind of luck. And then it happens. This random girl hands me a Pecha Berry, and I immediately shove it down Benny's throat. What just happened could bring a grown man to tears. But now that Benny was saved, we waste no time getting to Rustboro City, and we go to the Pokemon Center. We heal up and go look for more encounters, since we're down to 3 teammates, one being weak to rock and one being neutral. On Route 116, we get a Whismur, which isn't bad, but it keeps us from getting a 5th encounter, since Rust Earth Tunnel only spawns Whismurs. So we decide to train up the team we have, and that's when it happens. Flip-flop the Whismur, gets crit, and dies. So we go to fight Roxanne with 2 members. Wait. Now if you're asking, twist, 2 members. Isn't it 3? Benny, Boba, and Springroll. No it's not. Because, of course, the moment I decide to pause the recording, Boba gets crit by an Nincada and dies, right after evolving into Silcoon. I know, but don't fear, Springroll is here. Water gun after water gun after water gun was all it took. And Springroll soloed Roxanne. As I walk out the gym, the dude I saved from the Aqua Grunt in Petalburg Woods is chasing another Grunt. So I guess he's just like a Team Aqua Magnet? I don't know how he's always getting in these situations. But he tells me to follow the Grunt, so I do. And there's this old man, and he's like, he stole my Pico. Please help, please help. So I'm like, okay, what the hell's a Pico? It's a Wingull. I go in, I save the Wingull, give the old man his Wingull back, and he says, oh, thank you so much. Come visit my house in Dewford anytime. And I remember that. And then, of course, I go and talk to Mr. Stone. Not the Stone I wanted to talk to, but it's okay. He gave me a letter which was for Stephen and Dewford, and a package which was for some captain at Slateport. As I arrive in Dewford, I go straight to Granite Cave, and I find Dumpling the Makuhita in the cave. Oh, and Newt the Magikarp, I guess. Whatever. Brawly, brawly, brawly. I lead with Benny, and he sends out Machop. I know. Now, in my defense, in Emerald, he starts with a Meta type, and it has, like, no fighting type moves besides Focus Punch, and that's pretty easy to avoid if you just keep on hitting the Meta type. But, as I stare down this Machop, I look Benny in the eyes, and then I turn away. And I think, you know, if he's gonna die, at least let him do something. And I decide a defense drop would be for the best. So I tell him to use Tail Whip, hoping to drop the defense and live the attack. But Benny dies to Machop's Karate Chop. I switch to Dumpling, hoping for chip damage in order to save Spring Roll, the now Marsh Stomp, for Brawly's Makuhita. I use Vital Throw, and the Machop uses Bulk Up. Great. I then Arm Thrust, which does nothing, but his Bulk Up boosted Karate Chop did more than half. Another Karate Chop takes out Dumpling, and I bring out Newt. Now, please don't ask why. I don't know why. Why didn't you switch to Newt so Benny didn't die? Why didn't you? I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. So we're down Newt, Dumpling, and Benny. And now it's up to Spring Roll. Spring Roll takes out Machop and wipes the floor with Brawly's Makuhita. So now I've lost all my team as I head to Slateport. Oh yeah, I also dropped off Steven's letter and he gave me Steel Wing. Doesn't matter, I don't get to use it. I walk to Route 110 and turn the solo act into a two-man show with Kip the Wingle. I go find the captain only to be jumped by two Aqua Grunts, but Spring Roll packs them up with ease. I make my way up Route 10 and find May. Kip deals with her Wailmer, and when she gets Numel out, I bring in Spring Roll. One Water Gun, and May was down to one Pokemon, her Grovyle. Now, when I saw this Grovyle, I was genuinely shocked, because in my head, May always has a Blaziken, so I was full on expecting a Combusken for whatever reason. But Spring Roll didn't stand a chance. Grovyle's absorbs were too much, and Spring Roll was killed. Our only hope, Kip the Wingle. Can he do it? Can Kip the Wingle save the day? No. No, he can't. I wiped to May, and the Nuzlocke was over. Yeah. This was very unfortunate, and it was also played horribly. Don't worry, I'm very aware of that. Like, super aware, actually. Like, devastatingly aware of how bad I played this. Yeah. But, can I just say, this game was super fun. Now, I've grown up with Shield. Like, I was a Gen 8. Gen 8 was my first real Pokemon game that I had the console for and played, that I wasn't, like, emulating or anything like that. And I never understood why people were upset by the game. I was like, you know what, it's a good game. I had a lot of fun playing it. And this doesn't take away from how fun Shield is or any of the newer games. But I can definitely tell why some people would get upset just because of how completely different it is. But that doesn't change the fact that both are super fun and engaging, which I was really surprised about when it came to Gen 3. I thought, you know, less quality of life features, less, like, variety in moves and types, but no. I honestly had an amazing time. And Gen 3 surprised me way more. It gave me so much more than I was expecting. And I had a lot of fun. But that's for another video. I'll see you guys next time. If you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you learn anything from this Nuzlocke, let it be to trust your starter.